Since Rosh Hashanah is mitzvah b'shofar, so we'll talk a little about the shofar and try to understand how, through learning a little about the shofar, we'll understand what Rosh Hashanah is all about. Last year, if you remember, we talked a little bit from Kisari about the Yichud of Avav, Acher Acher, Panu Ponim, Amshacha of Tkiya is the Moichin, and the Teferes, that's Yachad Malchus. But we're going to talk a little more Pashat, but more nafshistik a little bit. So what's the reason, what's the Siba, what's the reason for shofar? What's the reason why we blow the shofar? So the reason why we blow the shofar is because Rachmana Matkai. That's the Pasha is the reason. Because the Eibusha said you should blow the shofar. The mitzvah is Yom Turu Yelachem, and therefore the mitzvah is Min HaTorah Rachmana Matkai. The mitzvah is to blow the shofar. That's Taka. That's Taka. The Mevakshei Hashem writes in the Rosh Hashanah that the highest kavana, the highest kavana of blowing the shofar is Taka Pashat. That's the mitzvah that you're mechaven, that this is a tzivui from the Eibusha, and you're doing the mitzvahs, mitzvah Chaburah. And that's the kavana. That's the highest kavana. Yet, when it says Rachmana Matkai, it means that it's a mitzvah min HaTorah. It's a mitzvah min HaTorah. There's also Amr Lefani Malchis, Achaydus Shofris, Rachmana Omar, which is that could be a mitzvah D'Rabbanan according to the Iran. But the idea of Rachmana Omar is it's a Toidik mitzvah. We have to understand why the Lashon is Rachmana. The Rambam, the Shittas Rambam, Bechal, the Shittas Rambam, in general, the Shittas Rambam, the Rambam writes in the Chaburah. At the end of the Chaburah, the Rambam writes, they're called mitzvah shein l'tam, ten l'tam. Any mitzvah, any choik that doesn't have a reason, you should give it a reason. Chat is 10 loitam, you give it a reason, means that it's not the reason. But 10 loitam, give it a reason to make it understandable. The Rambam. Hilchos T'morah. Say Hilchos T'morah. 10 loitam, there's in the Akdama in the Meiri, he writes a pasuk, Eis lachas Hashem efeir teirasecha. So the Meiri writes, Eis lachas Hashem. If someone says that the mitzvah is Eis lachas Hashem, the reason why I'm doing the mitzvah is because Eis lachas, because I have to do it, because it's the time to do the mitzvah, is a efeir teirasecha. That's a fair. That you should have to find a Tama mitzvah. You do it. The Meiri is very close to Shittas Rambam in general. By Tkiya Shofar, and specifically, Taka says, Tika b'choy Shofar b'kesachim chagenu kichoik l'Yisrael hu mishpil ke Yaakov. Kichoik l'Yisrael hu shat is choik is that it's a choik, that's a chukah, and mishpat means that it's a mishpat, which is a piseichel. Mishpatim is Sichlim. And Taka the Brisker Rav writes that Kichoik L'Yisrael Hu Mishpat Kol Yaakov, that every Tkiya Shofar has both this Indian, both as a choik and a mishpat. So we're going to try to understand a little bit what's the mishpat, what's the way maker of the mishpat of Tkiya Yaakov. Davud Ram brings down B'Shem Reb Sadigon. We don't have it in Reb Sadigon anywhere. B'Shem Reb Sadigon. Davud brings down that there's 10 reasons why we blow the shofar, 10 Ramazim for shofar. And the first reason, there's reasons to remind us of Tkava Shofar Gadol, for Lost Lovey, and the Chaybayim we talk about Shofar Gadol. There's other to remember the Akedah, to remember Matan Torah, different reasons, 10 reasons. But the first reason that the Rasak brings down, the Ram brings down B'Shem Reb Sadigon, is Achtaras HaMelech. Achtaras HaMelech, Tamchuni Am Leichem. That the idea of blowing the shofar has to do with anointing, coronating a king. Which means that just like we find in Tanakh, many places we find with Shlomo HaMelech and with Yehu, other old Malachim of Klal Yisrael, that they used to blow the shofar, and then they used to say Yechi HaMelech. That means that the Achtaras HaMelech, making a king, is connected with the blowing of the shofar. This is the Shittas HaRasak, and this becomes Be'erech Api Kabbalah in the Torah Sari, and then a lot of Torah Chassidus a lot, that the whole idea of Rosh Hashanah is Achtaras HaMelech, Tamtchuni Aleichem, to crown the Eibishter as king. What this means, Tachlis, what does this mean? What does Achtaras HaMelech mean? We're going to talk about. What does it mean that the Eibishter is your king, the Eibishter is a master? And what Pshat, that the Eibishter needs you, Kaviyachol, that you make him the king? The principle of Ein Melech B'Lo. So that means that you need the nation, the people, to make the person the king. But we also say that there's a idea of Malchus, that by the Eibishter there's Malchus even B'Terem Kol Yitzun Nivra, that there's Etzem Malchus. Etzem Malchus doesn't need a Makabel to. And then there's a chiluk between a Melech and a Moishel. That a Melech is someone that's Sumtas Melech a Melech, that means someone that you're Makabel on yourself a Melech. A Moishel is someone's a Shilit, that's a dictator. So we have to understand this a little bit. This is the Shittas HaRasak, and we'll talk about a little bit more Ba'omek. What does this mean? Achtaras HaMelech, to understand what is Rosh Hashanah, what's the avoid of Rosh Hashanah, what are you supposed to experience in Rosh Hashanah, what are you supposed to feel in Rosh Hashanah. That's one. The other Rishon that we know, also very famous, is the Rambam. And the Rambam Chus Tshuva writes, Af b'Tchiyah Shoifim Rishon Gzeres HaKosav, which means Achmana Mitkoy, that's the mitzvah of Gzeres HaKosav. But yet, Remez Yash B'Dover, Remez Yash B'Oy. Uri Yeshedim Mishnastchem, V'nedal Mikitzim Adon Leichem, V'chapshem V'seichem V'chiz B'Tshuv, V'zichim B'Yaschem, Eila Shoichim Z'emes B'Havel Azman, V'shoigim Kol Shnosim V'Hevel V'Rika Shal Loyo, V'Loyatzik L'Pitul V'Shem, V'Pitul V'Chem, V'Chem. The whole thing about that, the idea of the blowing of the shofar is to wake a person up from their sleep. When a person's asleep. And the blowing of the shofar is to wake a person up. Uri Yeshedim Mishnastchem. We have to understand, what does it mean, Uri Yeshedim Mishnastchem? What does it mean that we're asleep? What does it mean to wake up? And also, Al Pi Halacha, it's a Yeshalmi, it's based on Yeshalmi, that says that the person shouldn't sleep on Rosh Hashanah. If the person sleeps on Rosh Hashanah, then their mazel sleeps. This is brought down, it's also brought down Yeshalmi, it's brought down Shulchan Aruch. But even though it does say that Yoshu bought the Yoshim Dami, so that if you sit in Tam and talk about Ramadan, you might as well go to sleep. But there's something about sleep, and according to the Ari, Rir Kaddish, sleep is dafka. You shouldn't sleep till after Tkiyas. After Tkiyas already you can sleep. And the Ari Daka took a nap after Tkiyas, as I said. So there's something about the Tkiyas is awaking, about the idea of being awake. The Tkiyah brings awakening, and awakening from a state of sleep. What does it mean to be asleep? What does it mean to be awake? In the Torah, when it talks about, in the beginning of Hilchos Elul, it brings down from Pirkei Melez and Pirkei Mavav that it brings down that Heviru Kol B'Machnam, that there was a Kol Shofar on Rosh Chodesh Elul, and this Kol Shofar was blown, and therefore the Minhag Yisrael is to blow the Shofar throughout the Chodesh Elul. And right away, when the Mefarshim Mass, the Lechur, then you should only blow the shofar on Rosh Chodesh, not the 40 days. But the Torah then continues and says, the famous pasuk from Amos, Im Yitaka Shofar Be'ir V'lam L'Yichradu, that the idea of shofar is to wake a person up. Derech Agav, I just saw today that the Rekeach writes the same medrash from Pirkei Melez, but over there he says, V'viru Kol B'Machnam, that they actually blew the shofar for 40 days. Every day, so people shouldn't make a toss. The whole thing was the first time that they made a toss in the date. So if you're called Machrim, so they shouldn't make a toss in the last 40 days, and Moshe was all in the Kiyas. So therefore, they actually, every single day, the 40 days, they blew. So according to that, yeah, that's why we blow the shofar. But the Torah brings down, we talk about shofar, so we have to talk about what does this mean, charada, and what is shina. So we know that on Rosh Hashanah, it says that the Gimel Sforim and Ftachim, the 3 books are opened up, and the Tzaddikim is Nechtavim La'alter right away for Chayas. for life. Tosis asks a Shiloh. You see that a lot of Rishonim live, and a lot of tzaddikim. This is the famous Shiloh Moshe Rabbeinu asked. Tzaddik v'toy Rosh Hashanah, Tzaddik v'raloi, it's Rosh Hashanah. So he says that it's talking about Chayim L'Haba. It's not talking about Chayim Agash, it's talking about Chayim L'Haba. What does this mean? It means like this. In life, we can be awake or we can be asleep. The Charada, V'ablo Yichradu, and Ura, that the Rambam writes that a person should wake up, the Kol HaShofar wakes a person up. You can talk about it on a very ruchnistic level. Person's not a Shem Torah mitzvah, whatever. So maybe a person is lax in the Torah in Torah mitzvahs, but there's another nikud over here. How does a person know? It's a shayla you have to ask yourself. How do you know if you're awake or asleep? No, maybe your life is basically that shina, sleep, is echem b'shishim b'misah. So pshat is that maybe you're actually not alive. What do I mean by this? I used to have a mashpia when I was younger. I used to say like this, that some people are alive because they're alive, and some people are alive because they never got killed in an accident. Pshat is, how do you know if you're taka alive? What's the measure, what's the barometer to measure that the shofar is coming to wake you up? Wake you up from what? How do you know you're not awake? How do you know if you're awake or you're not awake? How do you know if you're sleeping or if you're awake? How do you know if you're alive or you're not alive? So this idea, I think Pasha to think is the way to think of it is like this. The opposite of dveikus is chorus. The person is nechras. Now, the truth is, the Alter Rebbe writes this in Geras HaTshuva, we don't really experience chorus today, and people even that experience chorus are still alive. That's why people are not nechras. People live 90 to 100 years old, even though the over is chorus. Because Alter Rebbe has a pshat that it's the chevel and is weaker, but now there's still a connection. But let's talk about in a different perspective. Let's say chorus taken means you're cut off. And let's say you're not over in Issachar, but let's say you're over in something that has the opposite of dveikus. How do you know if your life is in a state of dveikus or not? How do you know? So I think a very positive way to know this is if you have any hargosha of kirvas Hashem. Not if you do things. I'm not talking about practically. A person could be oisik and Torah and mitzvahs his whole day. He can be sitting and learning the whole day and doing every single mitzvah correctly. The question is, when you're doing it, when you're davening, when you're learning, when you're doing a mitzvah, when you're doing something in this world, do you feel a kirvas Hashem? Do you feel connected? Is there some time, at some moment, maybe it's 5 seconds in your Shemona Esrei, maybe it's 5 seconds when you're davening, 5 seconds when you're learning. Is there a time that you feel a sense of kirva? Or you're doing things by rat. You're doing things, you're going through life, and you're doing everything correctly. You're going to be a tzaddik bedin. That's not a shayla. We're not talking about bedin. Bedin, you're a tzaddik, you did roiv mitzvahs, ben amar and averis, and you're a tzaddik bedin. The question is if you're dovek b'elikim chaim. How do you know this? The question is if you ever have some type of hergish for a likus.
What does that look like?
It's not even. Every person is going to look a little differently. That's not the question. The question is, if you're living for let's say for a week, a month, and you're not feeling anything, you're not feeling any connection, that pshat is that you're going through life and you're robotic. That means this is what the Rambam's talking about to wake you up. Wake you up means that you should be awake. Awake means that you're connected, you're alive. The opposite of awake is sleep, and sleep is death. How do you know when you're connected? Connected is when you feel something. If you're margish. Cheshek, connection. Cheshek is
emotion.
Emotion. There's some type of aliveness. that you feel when you're davening. You feel connected. It can come many different ways. And I don't have to give you exactly how the experience will be, but is there something in your day-to-day life that when you're living it, you're feeling connected, you're feeling an openness, a spashtus, archavas hamoichin, archavas hamidas, you're feeling something, or you're not? And this is what the shofar is coming to tell you. The shofar is coming to tell you that if l'am lo yichradu, the charada of this is, are you awake or not? And we're not talking about if you're doing, again, on a pshat level, maybe it means, are you doing ma'aseh mitzvahs or not? Okay, so again, you're going to be a tzaddik, and you're tzaddik gomer, and you're a tzaddik b'din. That's not the shaila. But the real shaila, when we say that a Rosh Hashanah person is done for his chelik olam haba, this means whether a person is davik in the concept of olam haba, or a person is davik in olam haza. And how do you know if you're connected to olam haba and olam haza? Is if you feel chiyas, if you feel connection, you feel something that's alive and awake. And I want to say this, just to add this, that this is actually the biggest. This awakens the biggest tshuva, really. When you talk about tshuva, and a person has to be is chorud. The scariest thing in life is to think that your life, you're just passing through life, that you never had a real argosha, a real connection to something that's higher. That's the fear. The fear of life. I want to say that it's the Yom Adin and the Oyim V'Noira of the Din of Rosh Hashanah is okay. That you get Oinshim, whatever. That's already it's Yirat Atah. That's lower level. But if you really think about the Oyim Adin, what's the Oyim Adin? The Oyim Adin is the question is, and that's where Rosh Hashanah comes along. Is, am I alive? Am I really alive? Am I really davuk to Lakim Chai? Is my ruchni? Is my gashmi? Is my life connected or not connected? Am I living in a place of karas chas v'shalom, or am I living in a place of dveikus? And I don't mean dveikus that 24 hours a day you're alive and you're connected and you're hooked up. Okay, maybe one day you'll be. But the question is do I feel connections in my life? And this is the shaila. This is what the shofar is supposed to awaken. We'll talk about it a little more about it. This is what the shofar is supposed to awaken. This idea of whether a person feels connections or not. That's the oimik of the waking up. The waking up is, this is also important to understand that. Let's say, God forbid, a person has to go through an operation, and the person goes and is put in an anesthetic and he's put to sleep. So when does a person wake up and realize that they went through the operation? After exactly. When you're sleeping, this is the sadness of life, that when you're unconnected and when you're asleep, you don't even know you're asleep. That's the choisha kafel umechubel. The astara shebastara is that when you're not connected, you don't even know you're connected. The shofar is supposed to give you a little atzita, give you a little tickle, that you chap that you were just sleeping for the last 10, 40 years, or 20 years, or 30, whatever long you're sleeping. Maybe you're sleeping for the last week. So that's what it happens. So what you're doing is you're trying to wake yourself up, and rather there are Shash writes this in our he writes this in the Kabbalah in Lamates. Nam Lamates, also the Paliyoyitz brings it down. It says that the chiluk between what makes a shofar a shofar. A shofar technically is a horn. It's a horn of an animal, yeah? It's a keren. So what makes a keren into a shofar here? If a person calls Rosh Hashanah in the morning, says, "Could you pass me the horn? I want to blow." You look at him, this is shtickle apikoris or something. This is a zilz on the mitzvah. But it's a horn. What made the keren into a shofar? He said that's the avodas tshuva. If you understand what you're going to do, and you have a shtickle mashmos of what's happening with the shofar, huh? Shifra masechem. There's different words. Shofar b'chal means it's a shofar. That's the name of it. It's an instrument of a keren. That's really what it is. I mean, technically.
It's never associated as an instrument with the name shofar.
No, b'chatzos we call shofar. No, in the Torah you have shofars. There's badafke.
It's a respectful way of calling the keren a shofar.
No, it's an instrument. Once you make the keren, it's an instrument. It's called a shofar. Shofar, I think, has to do with that it's hollowed. It's not a keren that's full.
Because you can say a horn.
Yeah, emes, but no, it's a hollowed horn. It's a horn that's hollowed. But I'm saying the oimek of what the idea of a shofar, that it becomes a mitzvah. It's a chefs shal mitzvah. It's not a chefs, a mamash mitzvah. I mean, technically, it's not a shmish mitzvah. Technically, it's not. You can put it on the floor, but we don't. It's a shmish mitzvah. You should treat them covered. But the idea of the concept that you're not just blowing a horn, you're blowing a shofar is the tshuva. Meaning, when a person thinks about what is his life, this is what a person has to do. We're talking about big things. I'm not talking about specific things. I'm not saying, did I do this mitzvah? And am I going to minyan or learning daf, whatever? All your shiur is what I'm doing. That's not the shaila. The shaila is if you're awake. It's the general shaila. The general shaila: are you awake or you're sleeping? Are you going through life as sleeping, or are you going through life that you're awake? That's the shaila. This is one nekuda. The nekuda of this. And if you don't feel anything because you're asleep and you're like in the operation room and you're still having anesthetic, so you don't even know that you're sleeping, that in itself should be that itself should be worrisome. That itself should bring you to tshuva. If a person says, "I'm so stuck that I don't even feel anything," okay, so do tshuva for that. So that in itself will break you out of your problem.
How?
That in itself, that's the hakara. The Baal Shem writes that the hakara, that there is a hastara. This is the Baal Shem writes, the hakara that there is a hastara is already the opening up. That's already the mitakadin. Huh? It's a very famous Torah. It's brought on Tolos many times.
A lot of people know as Spiel Gornish. This is.
But it's artsenish. It's artsenish. That's it. Yeah, but you daven. Daven, you should. I'm a spal. You should open it. Huh? No, as shloft. He's aware that he's not feeling. So daven, you should feel.
Daven is gar nicht.
Daven no, because it's not a miracle pill. Wake up. Your choice is to wake up.
The wake up
realization
is the wake up.
Yeah,
The wake up is
The realization.
This is the wake. Exactly. The wake up is the realization that sie geht nicht, arbeitet nicht.
Aber es haben Menschen, weiß das Arbeit nicht.
Nein, it's arts nicht. It doesn't bother them.
Give up.
It doesn't bother them enough. You don't give up. You don't give up. Listen, it's a shaila is how important it is to you. Let's say l'moshel, you have to feed. You have kids. You have children. You have to put them through. You have to feed them. You have to give them possible melech at least. You're not going to say, "Okay, I give up. I can't afford. I can't." You're going to do anything in your possibility to make sure that you're going to have food on the table to feed your children. You're not going to give up. But sometimes takir ruchnis, the person says, "Okay, I give up. I tried." No, that means he didn't try. Try as if it's your life is chayim and neged. There's no option. You're alive or you're not alive. You want to go through life. Again, it's your option. It's like this bechira. Person has bechira. You want to go through life sleeping. You want to go through life that you're dead. Shom Mechaim Nikner Mason is not only because they're doing aveiros. It's a way of living that you have no dveikus. You have no sense of connection. So you're going through life because like anything, like a plant is going through life, and a horse is going through life, and you're also going through life. This is the sitter that you have to have before Rosh Hashanah to think about this. That am I living a state that I have a connection, or is my life is I feeling alive or feeling connected? And if you're not feeling alive, daven to feel alive. But it should be chayiv tol meneged. It should be there's no option. If you really feel bad, if you really feel there's no option, you're gonna make sure it happens. This is the first nekuda.
Today I feel in Yashmin's people are like
Emes taka.
Why don't you work? I can't find
I'll tell you, this is taka you're saying it's like a very big oimik. We're not going to talk about it, but the truth is that the generation today, the biggest problem with the new generation is apathy. They don't care. No one cares about anything. No one cares about gash. No one cares about ruchnis. Even gashmis, people don't care about anything today. You speak to 18-year-old boys, generally it's blank. It's okay. They don't. There's nothing. There's something. There's insensitivity to any. There's no fire. Unfortunately, it's because we live in a comfortable country, and then people are living comfortably in the Boro Park or Monroe or wherever you move, and everyone living a comfortable life. So I say, even your gashmis, no one has any she'ifas and desires to. And it's a big problem. This is not shakach b'derech. This is amalek. This is the real amalek. This is a kalkite to everything. It's like a coldness. I'm alive. I'm doing fine. I don't need to be big this way. Not kashmis, not ruchnis. I don't have. This is a problem with this generation.
This is stuck.
It's a big clipper. Yeah, and this is the idea of the shofar. Let's talk a little bit more. Another nukud over here. In Immer Lefon Malchius, Chronis Shofers, B'meba Shofer, the idea of Dafka is to say Immer Lefon Malchius. You have to say the psukim of Malchius. The last pasuk that we say, the stem psukim that we say, from Malchus Chayim Shayv, the last pasuk we say Shema Yisrael. It's Machlokes in Gemara, but that's the pasuk that we say the Shema Yisrael as a pasuk. What's Shema Yisrael? Shema Yisrael Hashem Echad Hashem Echad. Shema Yisrael Hashem Echad Hashem Echad is Kabbalah Yisrael Malchus Shemayim. That's every single day. A person called Malchus Shemayim. That's all mitzvahs. Shema Yisrael is Kabbalah Yisrael. What does it mean to Mekabel al Malchus Shemayim? And why is it negate? What's the negate of Rosh Hashanah? So we have to think about this in terms of like this. What's the gather of a melech? What does a melech mean? A melech, even though a melech loyam, but the idea of a melech is Amar Malka Akatura. That a melech means someone that has, let's say, we don't have malchus today, so we don't understand it well, but the idea of a melech means there's a king. The king has, let's say, an idea. Let's say the king says we have to go koivish, we have to go conquer this next land. So you're the subject, you're the person that's living in this country. So you have to follow. You're charged with an order to go to do this thing. What's the Achtoras HaMelech? What is the Achtoras HaMelech that we say on Rosh Hashanah is like this? Rosh Hashanah, a person has to think like this. Rosh Hashanah is the day, it's the day of Adam and Chavos, it's the day of the Yom Brias Adam. Which means that Rosh Hashanah is your birthday. All Neshamas, the Medrash says, all Neshamas are Nichel and Adam Rishon. Which means that Rosh Hashanah is B'atzem your day of your birthday. What does your birthday mean? What is it, Yom Brias Adam? What does your birthday mean? Your birthday means it's Barach, something like this. So there's a Medrash that says, the Medrash Beis Rabbah in the beginning says that when the Eibusher wanted to create the Adam, there was machlokes between the different malachim, different emes and tzedek, and everyone was arguing about if they should be created. And says the Medrash says that while all these koiches were arguing, so the Eibusher went kaviyachol and created a man. They were arguing, everyone was arguing. The Eibusher went and finally created. So it says in Chassidish Svarim that Kechoikli Sol Mishpil L'Kei Yaakov, that it's a Mishpil L'Kei Yaakov. So the Rizal says the Choikli Sol who Mishpil L'Kei Yaakov, that the first day is a din on Gashmias, and the second day is a din on Ruchnias. The first day is a din on Ruchnias, the second day is a din on Gashmias. That there's a Mishpil L'Kei Yaakov, there's a Mishpil on the Ruchnias of a person, how much a person is going to achieve this year. But there's another idea, which is that the Mishpil L'Kei Yaakov means that there's a Kaviyachol, there's a Mishpat on the Eibusher. The Malachim come to the Eibusher, says in Chassidish Svarim, they take the Eibusher to the Mishpat. What's the Mishpat? The Eibusher, they come to the Eibusher and say, this Chaim Yankel, let's say. Chaim Yankel, you created Chaim Yankel 20 years ago. There was a demon on Malachim, if you should create him, you shouldn't create him. You decided that the purpose is that there's a kavanah for this person to be created. Was it worth it? What shot is it worth it? The Eibusher is a Melech. What's a Melech? A Melech says, this is a job. I have a job to fulfill. Right? And I need people to fulfill this job. I have to go conquer this particular land. Or I have to be in the Sava Kodesh Baruch Hu Lidus Dim Tachtonim. I have to create this world. I have to be in this Galak Kvot Shemayim in this world. So I need Moshe Shmuel. I created Moshe Shmuel because I believe I believe that Moshe Shmuel has a kavanah, and he's going to fill his kavanah, Tachas kavanah, to do the ratzon of the Melech. And then on Rosh Hashanah, the question is, are you doing your job? And the din is not only on you. The din is on Kaviyachal and the Eibusher. The Eibusher says, I believed that I created you 30 years ago because I thought that you're going to be this and this and that. And I believed in you. So I gave birth to you. I put you in the neshama into this goof. Are you doing your job? So what is the Amos Adin of Rosh Hashanah? The Amos Adin really is a person to be honest and to ask himself, am I really doing what I'm supposed to be doing in this world? Is my life justified to be created? The Eibusher believed in me and said, I need you to do this job. I'm going to give you this seichel, this midas, this body, this family, these are your children, this is your wife, this is going to be your life. And I need you to fulfill your particular kavanah. Comes Rosh Hashanah, the Eibusher says, are you fulfilling your kavanah? And the shaila is not just from the top down. The shaila is really how we feel about it. Could we come on Rosh Hashanah with a clear conscience and say that I'm actually fulfilling the kavanah? What?
Could anyone?
That's not a shaila. The question is, how much could you say? Could you say that I'm a disaster, and I'm trying, I'm mishtadel? The Eibush is a melech. When I say when we say Shema Yisrael Hashem Hashem Echad, means I'm a kabbalah salach shemayim. Pshat is I'm servicing. I work for the Eibush. I'm an Eved Hashem. My job in this world is to do Hashem's work in this world. That's why I was created. On the day of my birthday, I have to ask myself the question: is that true? That's the Amos Adin, and I want to say that's why it's the charada. The charada and the fear is the same question we said before. Am I awake to the real kavanah, my purpose in my life? Or am I doing things that are completely not what I'm supposed to be doing in this world? The greatest regret in life, the greatest regret in life? I don't know if you know. Wait a second, this is what I said. The greatest regret in a person's life, this is Boduk and Menusa, that people when they pass away, the biggest thing that they say is that I didn't do what I was supposed to do in this world. I didn't be me in this world. Pshat is on Rosh Hashanah, before Rosh Hashanah, when a person thinks about Achtaras HaMelech, you can talk about Achtaras HaMelech in a very luftige Leifen. I'm Machte the Melech, HaMelech, and you scream Malkano, and you scream Loicha Kolim Kulim V'decha, and this is very abstract. Maybe it should be Melech on that person, and the other person, the whole world, but maybe should be Melech on me means, on one level, on the first level, Pshat is that I am an Eved to the Melech, which means I was put in this world for a purpose, and I'm living my purpose. Maybe not 100%. Okay, I'm not a tzaddik gomer, but that's what my shifa. That's the achasho alti meis Hashem means on Elul. It's not the avodas Elul is not specific. It's not like Chodesh Iyar. You're not doing avodah for this midah and that midah and this midah and the other midah. Chodesh Elul is achasho alti meis Hashem. What's achasho alti? Is my orientation. Pshat is, where am I facing? What's the direction? Where's my life heading towards? Is my achshalt in Beis Hashem lift shifted Beis Hashem kol yimei chai? Is that's the focus of my life, or is my focus in life because I want to make money, and the focus in life because I want to have fun, or the focus in life I want to do this or I want to do that? What's my focus? Forget about the details. Of course, the details is also negate. It's the pratim. But now in this time, you have to ask ourselves: is my life aligned with the purpose of why I was created? And that's Achtaras HaMelech. Not Achtaras HaMelech in an abstract level. Achtaras HaMelech in a pshat level is, am I living my fullest potential of who I'm supposed to be in this world? What I'm supposed to be as a yid in this world. And this is a frightening question, by the way. It's not a simple question. And unfortunately, a lot of people, we live through our lives, so we don't ask ourselves this question. We're trying to do this thing and that thing, the other thing. But then the big shaila is the Eibusher's kavanah, am I fulfilling my kavanah pratis of why I was created in this world? And it's a high order. It's a high order. Every person a person who's born a yid has a high order. It's not simple. It's big responsibility. We have big responsibility, and there's a bigger expectation. I mentioned before, the Gemara says that as a mataken, that before Shavuos, before Atzeres, to be koyer the klolos of Parshas Vayikra, of Torah's Kohanim, and before the end of the year, they have to do the klolos of Parshas Devarim, because Amar Abai, Amar Shlakish, or Yitem Shlakish, Tich Lashon v'Klos. What does it really mean? What's What does it mean, Tichle Shana Kol Yisrael? What, does the year has curses? What does it mean that it has curses? We'll talk about this, but Bekitzer, very Bekitzer, this Klolos, what are the Klolos in the Torah? What are the curses in the Torah? It seems very harsh. It's very harsh. You read the Klolos, you read the Torah. It's a very, very harsh story. And we know there's Torah in Parshas Vayikra, there's Torah in Parshas Vayikra. There's Torah in Bechukosai and in Kisisa. So the Ramban in Vayikra and Rabbeinu Bechaya also here in last week's Parsha writes that the two Toichos correspond to the Bayis Rishon and Bayis Sheni. What does it mean? That a bris, the klolos, a part of the avach of a bris. What it means that tichlo shana kilasem, and a person has to. Why does a person have to think about the klolos at the end of the year? Why is it? What's taka the kavana? By the way, the cycle, the way we read the Torah today, Parshas Kisisa is be'erach always around Rosh Hashanah, anyways. Kisavim, sorry, is anyways around the time period of the end of the year, anyways. But
Because of that.
no, even if it wouldn't, it'd be a few parshas off and off. It's at the end of the Torah. You read the Zos HaBracha on Simchas Torah. No, lav dafka, no, because that Ezra was metaken b'shas takanas Ezra. There were different. There was the Bnei Bavel, Bnei Maravi used to read the Torah differently. And Bnei Eretz Yisrael, you actually used to read the Torah every 3 years. Right? The Rambam writes it's not an Minuk Pashat already in the times of the Rambam. But before the times of the Rambam, that's the way the Minuk they used to read every 3 years. So Pshat is that according to Kanas Ezra, at the end of the year they would pull out specially, even if they were holding the middle of Shmois, the Pri Tzadik writes this, that they would pull out the Torah and they would read specifically the Torah. What's dafka to read the Torah? I'll tell you why. What I think, and this is part of Rosh Hashanah, because a person has hardships in their life. How do you look at the hardships that you have? Every person has issues. One person has parnasa, one person has shidduch, one person has health. Every person has struggles in this world. How do you look at your struggles? Torah says like this: you have to look at the struggles, the klolos, in the way of a bris. What's a bris? Bris means, Hashem says like this: I'm making a pact. Let's say we talk about bris nisuin. A person gets married. A person that's married knows that the person that can hurt you most is your wife, or your children, or your parents. Some guy walks down the street and tells you it's mazalzel on you. Okay, so what? Well, I don't have a relationship with this person. I don't care. Who's the person that can hurt you the most? The person that you're committed in a bris. If you're stuck with this person, it means this is the person that you have a relationship with this person. The person that you love the most is the person that can hurt you the most. This is what the Eibusha tells us. The klolos means that the Eibusha says to the Klal Yisrael, I love you. Therefore, I'm going to enter into a bris with you. A bris is eternal, it's nitzchi, and it's a bris. There's two perspectives. There's the Eibusha's perspective, which is Parshas Vayikra, the Air perspective, Parshas Dvorim, and there's a bris. It's coming together. And the Eibusha is saying, I need to enter into a relationship with you, and because I'm entering into a relationship with you, you should know I'm holding you to a higher order because I expect more things from you. You expect from your children more than you expect from the child. You don't care. From the child walks into shul and davens very nicely, you say, wow, he's a tzaddik gomer. If your child doesn't sit for more than 5 minutes, you start telling him that the percent of shegets. I shouldn't say you should say that. I said maybe that's what you think. Why? Because you expect someone that you invest and you're connected to, you expect more from them. This is what the Eibush is telling us. We have to learn before Rosh Hashanah to reframe the klolos in our life. To reframe it. Not to say there's a Torah Chassidus that says that the klolos are really brachas and they're really the famous Torah. Saying is ladaf. No, the oimik pshat is oimik asoy. The klolos is taka very hard. You had a hard year. You had a hard year. Yeah, but recognize that the reason why you had a hard year is because you're in a relationship with the Eibusha, and therefore there's bigger expectation. And if you're hurt, it's going to hurt more. And if you love and you're connected, it's going to be a bigger bracha. Everything is exaggerated in this relationship because the relationship is there. So when a person looks at their life and they say, I'm having this struggle and that struggle and those are the things that are hard in my life, you have to realize that the underlying is the reason why I'm having these things is because I am in a relationship. The reason why I'm having such trouble with my wife, because you have a wife. Someone doesn't have a wife, doesn't have trouble with their wife. The reason why I'm having such trouble with children, because you have a bracha, because you have children. This is what the Eibush is saying. This is why we have to tichlo shana k'laseh. We have to understand that it's a relationship, and this is what Rosh Hashanah is about. Rosh Hashanah is the question that we have to ask ourselves: is I'm in a relationship with the Eibush. The Eibush has certain expectations from me. Gave me the Torah, gave me the mitzvahs, gave me all this koiches, gashmim and ruchnim. Am I living my kavanah? That's Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. That's the first thing that a person has to think of Achtaras HaMelech is, am I in this relationship living my fullest capacity that I could live? Or am I asleep? Or am I passing through life? I'm half conscious. I have the relationship. I have the connection. I'm invested with a lot of koiches. I have a lot of energy. Am I fulfilling this koich? This is one nekuda. That's the one nekuda of Achtaras HaMelech. Achtaras HaMelech means the question if the Eibishter is Melech is if I'm the Eved HaMelech. And the Melech is not an Av. There's a time there's Avinu and there's Malkeinu. There's two different things. Rosh Hashanah, the Ikar Avodah Rosh Hashanah is Melech. Sometimes the Melech becomes scary because the Melech, that's why you say Avinu Malkeinu. That's why you say Avinu Malkeinu. Because Taka, the Melech is also your father, and sometimes the father looks over things. But the Melech means there's a commanding order. I expect things from you, and I invested in you, and I gave you the proper ammunition, and go fight the battle. And are we fighting the battle? Are we doing the right thing? This is Achtaras HaMelech on one level. Another level.
The Achtarah is this or the change?
The Achtarah means...
No, the Achlot is the change.
No, the Achtarah means that you recognize that you're an Eved Melech. That I am working for the king.
Even if it wasn't so good?
On Rosh Hashanah, you don't talk about anything not good. According to the Zohar, and this is the way it's Taka Tachlis, and we're going to run past, because that's why we don't mention any Chatoim in Rosh Hashanah. No Al Chet, no Rosh Hashanah Beganu. Because on Rosh Hashanah, forget about it. Forget what happened in the past. Today, Rosh Hashanah, I have it's a Schachus, it's a new day, it's a new year. Today I'm Machta the Melech, Shema Yisrael Hashem Hashem Echad, and today I'm starting from a new life. You do Yom Kippur already. You're going to go back and you do Amtakas Adin of all the things that you the problems with. But Rosh Hashanah, you're not thinking that way. Rosh Hashanah is I'm a Melech, I'm connected to the Melech, I'm doing the Melech's work in this world, and this is what I'm charged. This is the Eimah, this is the Pachat. Am I doing it? Am I awake? Am I alive? Am I really fulfilling my purpose? This is the first Nekuda. Second Nekuda, which is the idea of Echad. Shema Yisrael Elokeinu Hashem Echad. I think there's a way to think of it is like this. What does Echad mean? So the Gemara says, "Vayemo hu yiyeh Hashem Echad Shema Echad." It's a pasuk in Zechariah. So the Gemara in Pesachim says, "Vayemo hu yiyeh Hashem Echad Shema Echad." Hashem Echad. That Achshav, it's not Echad. Lost love will be Echad. Why? It says that today, when a person has good in his life, you hear Shmua Tova, what does a person say? Baruch HaTova Meitiv. A person is Shmua Ra, you say Baruch Dainamas. Lost Lavai, in the future, you'll always say Baruch HaTova Meitiv. What does it mean? What does it mean? It means like this. It's not just that Lost Lavai, everything will look good. Okay, good is a very... what does it mean, good? In the Torah, when we say the word good, where do we find the first time when it comes to the word good, toiv in the Torah? Is Vayar Elokim ki toiv? What's pshat toiv? Toiv is a davar that's nishlam. It's complete. It says when the Haruga Beta were buried, so Baruch HaTova Meitiv, because things became the Hashlabas. Things become complete in their order. Ra is Ru'ah, is like Teruah, something that's shaky. It's not complete. When a person has something good, they feel complete. They feel like this is a complete thing. You have a nachas from your children. You feel good. You feel complete. You have nachas. You have a good relationship with your wife. You have shalom bayis. You feel complete. You have parnasa. You feel complete. What happens when something doesn't come? Is not so good. So when you say Baruch Dayan Emes, it means like this. What does Baruch Dayan Emes mean? Baruch Dayan Emes means the truth is what's going on in this world, what's happening to me, I don't really understand. It's not completing me. It's disturbing to the way I understand life. But the Eibush has a kavanah. The Eibishter is a dynamic. I trust the Eibishter's judgment, and the Eibishter has a purpose. What you're really saying is that it's not echad. I'll explain you why. What is echad? Echad means, how do you look at the world around you? Everything that happens to you. Most people, when they think about the things that happen in their life, they say like this: I'm here, I'm me, and things are happening to me. You walk down the street, and someone honks the horn at you, or you see something, there's something startling. This thing happened to me. It's not part of me, it happened to me. And then, if it's a good thing, you feel like this thing that happened to you completes you. And if it's not a good thing, you reject the thing. And then you say, Baruch Dainamis, but I accepted that that's Eretz Hashem. What does to live echad mean? Echad means the recognition that everything that's happening to you is part of you. It's not that this thing is happening to you. It's actually part of you. Just like you have a hand and you have feet. I shouldn't say you have. You are your hands and your feet. The same thing also, you are the experiences that you have. Whatever was put in front of you, whatever the Eibusha gave you in your life, the things that were given to you outside of you is not things that happen to you, not imposed onto you, but they're actually part of you. Beruchnis, Ma'omek, this means that everything, all the objects that a person has, and this is notorious in Balshem, a big Torah, all the objects that a person has, all the food that a person eats, is chelek nishmasai, right? Is a part of a person is goizel, a goizel mechaver is kil goizel nafshes. Balshem says because you're taking something that belongs to them. It's not that they have a watch. Their nefesh is mispashet in the watch. Their nefesh is mispashet in the table they have, in the chair they have, in the things they have, in the experience they have. Which means that everything that is happening to you is not happening to you, but it's part of you. You can't say, I don't accept that. Okay, but what should I do? The Eibusha wants it to be. Baruch Dainamis. Right? You don't say Baruch Dainamis, you have a finger. Your finger is you. Baruch Dainamis, I have this thought. This is who I am. The oimek of the Hachtoras HaMelech, of the Achtas Hashem, of Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. I'm not saying you can actually live there, but the aspiration should be in this way. That the She'ifa should be in this way. What it means is that a Rosh Hashanah, just like a Machte de Melech in the first level, that I feel charged and I feel moved to be the best possible me, because that's what the Eibusha believed in me, and the Eibusha created me, and the Eibusha believed in me. The Reb Tzaddik writes that when a person says Moedan Lifnecha Shechazartem Nishvasi Rabba Munasecha, that what it means Rabba Munasecha doesn't mean that Hashem, great is your faith that we have in the Eibusha, but Rabba Munasecha, great is your faith in me, that the Eibusha believes that you should live another day. You woke up in the morning. Why did you wake up in the morning? Because the Eibusha believes that you have a purpose to reveal in this world. And you're living another second. The Eibusha believes you have another second. You were born, your birthday. The Eibusha says a Chaim Yankel has to be born in this world, because my world is not complete without Chaim Yankel. And if the Eibusha gives you another moment, it's because the Eibusha says, I need this Chaim Yankel to be in this world. So if the Eibusha has Munah in you, where's your Munah in yourself? This is the first daga of the Achtoras HaMelech. The Achtoras HaMelech is to be charged to the recognition of that every single moment the Eibusha is giving us chiyus is because the Eibusha believes that you have a purpose, and therefore you have to make sure that you're living your purpose. And the general, the Achash Alti should be that orientation. How am I living my life to be to reveal the Ratzon Hashem, the Kvod Hashem in this world? On a deeper level, it's the idea of to recognize the Achtus Hashem in everything. The Echad. The Echad means that how everything is not experiences that happen. This happened to me and the other thing happened to me. To take everything in my life and say, this is all part of me. And make sure that it's all lived in Kvod Hashem. And the third level is more a Musa Daga, which the Balei Musa right.
Why is this Yemais Mashiach?
Because Yemais Mashiach there's Achtus Abriya. So there's no conception, there's no idea that this thing is outside. It's the level that's a Shema Echad, Hashem Echad. There's a recognition that everything is one Metzias. There's nothing happening, everything is.
But in today's day now, before Mashiach, is still a Shayach.
This is what you're machter.
But
Shema Yisrael means.
saying Baruch Dainamis, on one side he's saying Echad.
That's correct. So on Rosh Hashanah,
Is there a tzaddik that doesn't say Baruch Dainamis?
Shem Shemaburach.
Yeah, no, it's not Geshem Shem Vach. No, in other words, yeah, what you're saying is like better. You're saying this. We don't really live it this way fully in every single moment.
That's
but the Achtaras HaMelech on Rosh Hashanah, we're machted Hashem, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem. This is the Rashi, right? Hashem Elokeinu, Achshav, Yi Hashem Echad L'Aseh Lavei. We're saying that's the goal. The goal is to recognize. So the more I realize these things, this achdus in my life, the more I'm living with Yimoysa Mashiach, the more I'm connected to Elam Haba, the more I'm living a higher life, and the more I have dveikus. That's the she'ifa. I shouldn't live small. I should know what the goal is. The goal is Elam Haba. And the third nekuda, which is that more musa, I should have said maybe the first nekuda. The first, there's a vort by the Alter of Kelm that he says like this. It's brought in Chachma. Musa is brought in other places. He says like this: that what is Achtaras HaMelech? Very simple. He says Achtaras HaMelech in the Lashon over there. If you want to be machted the Melech as a king, you should machted your moich alalav. Simple. Pshat is, what does it mean? That a person is Achtara means there's an order, there's a hierarchy. There's a king, Melech, it says Moech Lev Kavod, right? The opposite of Moech Lev Kavod is Kalim. It's Bilam. The idea of Moech Lev Kavod, the order is from the Moech Lev Kavod. Moech Lev Kavod means I am in control of my life. What should I am in control? My Moechen is control of my Midas. And my Midas is in control of my actions. My Moech is connected to the Kavod and the Lev. Hachtaras HaMelech means inwardly in a voidic level, not in a posture level, in a ruchnistic level. How am I looking at this world? It Pasha means to say that I am in control. I have control over my life. I have my moichin, I have understanding of how I should live my life in a higher way, and therefore my moichin dictates how my midas are going to be, how I'm going to feel, and how am I going to act. And that's the Achtaras HaMelech. So these are the three dagas of Achtaras HaMelech, what we wanted to talk about. And this B'Klolos is what Rosh Hashanah is. I think the Iker Avodah of Rosh Hashanah, and now we'll go back to the beginning. The Iker Avodah of Rosh Hashanah, the time that there's the Shittas HaRasag and the Rambam. That the Shittas HaRasag is the Achtaras HaMelech. Shittas HaRambam is that it's Urim Sheinu Misnaschem. It has to be to wake up. To wake up means to be Machta the Melech. To wake up means that I'm not asleep and I understand what my purpose is and I'm living my purpose. And I can proudly and humbly, or with bittul, say that I'm trying at least to be the best I can. And that's the Achtaras HaMelech. I'm living that way. I recognize the Melech. I recognize HaMelech, not the Eibush is Melech, and the other person, the other one, but I'm me. I'm Moech Shalit Alev. I recognize that there's a Malchus, and I have charging, I have order, I'm charged with a mission in this world, and I have to do that mission. I'm trying to live mostly my life to fulfill my mission, what my kavanah is. And I'm doing it from a sense of achdus, from the recognition that everything is part of this, and everything that's happening in my life is not something that's happening, but it's part of me and part of the kavanah the Eibusher wants. The Eibusher wants to be, these people should be in my life, and these objects should be in my life, and I should have this much money, and this little money, and these friends, and not these friends. This is what the Eibusher wants for me to be in this person. And the Eibusher created me in a situation that I can live my best possible way to bring down Kvod Shemaim in the situation that I have. This is the nekuda of the bittul, when we talk about Achtaras HaMelech and Rosh Hashanah. Okay, that's what I wanted to say for this. Now we'll do a little bit of meditation. It's going to go a little bit another mahalach. It's clear? Okay. We'll do a shtickle meditation because the Baal Shem writes, there's a principle in Baal Shem, both in the Kamana, that there's three, in Avodah there's three things. There's Achna Avdal Am Taka. Achna Avdal Am Taka, that every process goes through three stages. Achna Avdal Am Taka. The members, the Achna Avdal Am Taka means like this. Achna, there's many different ways how you can understand this, but one way to understand Achna is, Achna means I recognize the things that are happening in my life and I'm submitting to them. I'm avatal myself to them. I'm owning them. I take responsibility for those things. That's Achna. Havdalah means even though I did these things and these are things that I own, I'm mavdal myself in those things because it's not. I can separate from those things. Those are things that I can let go of. And Hamtaka means that I go back and I recognize that those are the things that I did. Let's say we're talking about Averis, something that I did in a negative, that I did, I can sweeten them and zoynes nasel kazachias. That's going to be the chlolis. That's the difference between Elul, Rosh Hashanah, and Yom Kippur. That Elul is avodah achna, and Rosh Hashanah is avodah of Avdallah, and Yom Kippur is avodah of mitak adin, which is Hamtaka. That's why in Yom Kippur you actually talk about all the Averis because you do Hamtaka Sadin. We're going to talk about the first two Nekudas, which is Achna and Avdallah. Before Rosh Hashanah, Achna means submitting. Meaning the way we're talking about right this moment, it means I accept all the things that I did in the past here. I'm owning them. All the choices that I made, I own those choices. Some choices were good, some choices were not so good, some choices were whatever. Some people did good things, not such good things, and I own it. I take responsibility for it. I'm not blaming this person and that person. That's part of also Chaburah HaMelech. Chaburah HaMelech is that you never blame someone else. And say, I'm talking about things that you did make a choice. Okay, you made a choice. This is the I understand. So everything's not a choice. So first thing is to own everything. Take all the pekel. Think about your year. Do this a short meditation. Think about the year. Go through the year. You can go through last year from Tishrei to Cheshvan to Kislev. Things, big things. Huh?
Havdalah is Simera.
Havdalah is not even Simera. Havdalah is that you're higher from everything. You let go of everything. It's not.
You let go.
You tell it.
Recognize it and say,
you say, I own it. This choice that I made in Cheshvan was a bad choice. Who made the choice? I made the choice, and I own it, and I feel terrible about it. But I own it. I'm taking responsibility for that choice. That's achma. Havdalah means
it's not me.
It's not me. It's not me. I am higher. I'm a better person. I don't make such choices. In my better place. Yeah, what we say that meaning that most times when you do something, you're not really liable. You're not responsible for the choices that you make. In a way, why? Because once you're ready, enter the ruach shtus, then you're a shayta, and the shayta is potter. Meaning, a lot of times the choices that you made, that we're talking shtus, not good, not smart choices. When you made the choice that you made was actually for the best of your ability at that point. You were meshuga, you were shikar, you were shikar l'miyayin. You're not in the right mindset to make a right choice. You have katan sadas. You're liable. The achrayus you have is that you entered into that state, that you put yourself in that situation. But the fact is that you did that choice because of the ruach shtus. So what you say is like this: I own that choice. Taka was a shtus. I did it. I own it. I was a fool. I made that mistake. I made that mistake. I own it. It's painful. That's how this Elul. Yeah. A bach says, I own it. It's crying. It's tears. It's painful. I own it. Comes Rosh Hashanah, says, I have nothing. I'm free. I'm new. I'm born just now. It's a bria chadasha. It's a schachus. Today's the day you were born. Today is the day you're in Gan Eden. You don't have any aveis. You have nothing. You're like all the Mishkan Kadam Achet. Tzir Kapish HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're just now born. Who am I? All potential. This is the Rosh. The Rosh means the Rosh is not Chilas Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah means the head. Means it's the potential of everything new. There's a new potential. It's a new slate. It's a new thing. You owned it. You took responsibility. Rosh Hashanah comes. I'm fresh. A big ischachus. So in when we're trying to do this a little bit as a practice, we'll say like this. The first thing is go through the year and own the things. I own this pekel and that pekel and these things and that thing. And if it happened to you, it didn't happen to you. You made a choice, it didn't happen to you. But these are the things that you own. Own it. It's heavy. It's tearful. It's painful. Hold it. And then say, Eibusha, I'm letting go of everything. And I'm b'schadish. It's a new beginning. I'm starting brand new. I understand what my purpose is. I am a kabbalah asel malach shamayim. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. I'm doing achtaras hamelech. I'm starting from new. I'm a brand new person right now. The problem, by the way, why it doesn't work and why Rosh Hashanah is not effective, because we don't believe it. That's the problem. Because when we go through Rosh Hashanah, we say, yeah, Takeh, this is a Torah, I heard from my Rebbe, yeah, this is all that. But it doesn't really work, because I'm the same person, the same thing, and the same shtus, and the same. But the moment you're going to believe it, that's the moment it's going to have an effect. So it's your choice. You want to believe it, you want to be mischadesh, you believe it. You don't want to believe it, you want to be your own same verstuck in yourself, you want to go through life this way, you want to be verschlafen. Gesundheit, and that is bechira. This Davisha says you can do whatever you want. But it's better. It's a better choice.
Es kann gar kein Gleich. Sein einer du, kein Gleich, was ich so will, dass ich ein Mensch das Gleich an du.
Sanai, du kannst sagen, was du willst. Sanai.
Menschen zusammen.
Du hast nicht seine. Sanai Bria, ja?
Menschen zusammen Gewohnheiten.
Es ist nicht, schon ist eine neue Sache, ja? Es ist eine Sache, es ist eine neue Sache. Sanai Bria.
Fakt ist...
Nicht gefakt.
So bald eine Stunde ist.
Das ist Schemes, Anai, es ist Chatschus. Es ist ein Mamschei Chatschus. Das ist doch gläubig.
Wir wissen dieselbe Sache.
Von wann weißt du? Immer gehen Rosh Hashanah sein. Du gehst schon in eine Rosh Hashanah mit all die Sveikes. Gerne in Rosh Hashanah ist eine neue Sache. Warum ist noch Rosh Hashanah? Give yourself time. Why are you already saying it's not going to work? You're saying now, it's not going to work. It's not the alte Sache. Weißt du nicht?
Sohn ist in der...
Von wann weißt du? Efter sein Tag auch nicht sehen ist. Von wann weißt du? Es ist ein neues Leben, es ist eine neue Sache. Heintig Jahr ist der einzige, nein, das ist nicht Schemmes. Der Jahr ist der erste Rosh Hashanah. Also ich darf mal leben.
They say you own it,
Yeah.
give it some space.
It's not only space, but let go of it. The Eibusher will take it.
And then it goes, but first you have to own it.
The Eibusher is big enough. Let the Eibusher take your peckle, hold it, start new. Give it up.
Why do you have to own it if you're anyways letting it go?
Ah.
No, because you have to first own it in order.
Because if you don't own something, you can never let it go. You can't forget that which you don't remember.
How do they call it in English, the psychology of this?
This was negate with the psychology. It's called Achna and Avdallah.
I just told you, that's what it is.
You can't forget that which you don't remember. You understand? You want to move forward, you have to remember it and let go. If you don't remember it, you don't.
The therapy is to own it.
That's it.
If you deny it,
You have to. You have to feel it. It feels painful. Huh? Yeah, exactly. You have to own it. This is the avoidance. You have to own it and not let it go. Okay, we're going to try this for a few minutes. Everyone should close their eyes. I don't know if you remember, I have to meditate still, but try. It's a new aswal, it's a new beginning. Vermachte lights, nicht vermachte lights, whatever it is, just sit down, quietly, close your eyes.
Shiur of Mevakshei Hashem.
Das weiß ich, das kannst du haben.
I want to see that video.
You have to keep the lights on.
When you're asleep, you can't see your
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you just don't.
Huh? Okay, the value of the lights are closed. Okay, please close your eyes for a few moments. To go through the year, just very quickly to think about the past year. You could do it month by month. Sometimes it's easier to do it this way. Think about the month of Tishrei last year. You avoid Tishrei, we daven Tishrei, we daven Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. How was your sukkahs? If you had a geschmack of davening, if you had a davening that was not so. If you felt the sorrows, you didn't feel the sorrows. Try to remember even pratim, different things that happened. And if it's something that's painful, no, so it's painful. Just take the responsibility of it, own it. And then you can move into the month of Cheshvan. Try to think about the month of Cheshvan. Last year Cheshvan, after Tishrei. And maybe your children started yeshiva, not just started going to school, and how they were doing and how you interacted with them. And Michal's a time, Cheshvan's a time. It's a time of transitions. If anything happened that time in your life, when you go to Chodesh Kislev, again, also think about Chanukah time. You can think pratim in your life that happened during that time, and anything that comes up, and maybe it was not the right choice, then God wasn't present when it happened. Take responsibility. Even though it's not your fault, it's the other person's fault, and the other person did it. You were there, take responsibility. And again, it could be painful that you're taking responsibility because now you're taking the achayus in it. And it's not his fault or her fault or that person's fault. You're taking full responsibility. Something also happened in Tevis last year in the winter. Something happened in Shvat. Or if something happened in the month of Adar. Again, the same thing, take full responsibility. And it could be different things. It could be gashmis, it could be ruchnis, it could be midas, it could be emotional things. You're not feeling good, not acting well. You were angry, you were upset. It could be kalas and chamuras, whatever it is. Last year, Nisan, think about Pesach, where you were Pesach, how you provided Pesach, how you were by the Seder, how you were Chalamoid with your children, with your family, your siblings, your parents. If you're in a good place, not such a good place, take responsibility for everything. Mevatel and machnir yourself to it. Think about Shiur and Sivan in the month of Torah and Shavuos, where you were last year Shavuos, what happened Shavuos, what happened around the time of Shavuos. Bring into Chodesh Tammuz, the summer, the beginning of the summer, where you were, what you did. Chodesh Av, Tisha B'Av, in the beginning of the new year, when children go to yeshiva and school. Was happening during this time. Imagine everything that you had, all the choice that you made. It's like a big bag, a big peckle. And throw everything into this big bag, this heavy bag. It's a big cart that's carrying all these things. And it's weighing you down and it's holding you. Now Rosh Hashanah is approaching. You can throw everything, take the whole package, throw it into the water, let go of it. Feel yourself free and empty from all these things, all these issues. You're like a child that's just born. Today is the day of your birthday. So it's going to be Rosh Hashanah. It's the first Rosh Hashanah in your life. The first time you're born. First time you're going to experience Rosh Hashanah. And it's Das Chala, it's the Rosh that controls everything, the brand new you. The Maggid of Medrash and the girl both right. That Zachein L'Chaim Alachavatz B'Chaim. Zachein L'Chaim means remembrance of Hashem for life, because we remember ourselves, because we believe that Hashem is Elokim Chaim, and Teva Tov Lahetiv. Hashem wants to give us life, and His chachas. We can start all over again, always. Free from all our problems, free from all our issues, free from all our choices. Feel these chachas, tmidius, it's every moment. Rosh Hashanah is an oil that's mischadish, that was never brought out into this world. It gives you new koiches, new abilities and possibilities. Feel the tvekas, feel these chachas. Everyone could open their eyes. Everyone's not going to be benched. We can bench Shiur. All the shefa and bracha.
Yeah, you're not.